ShopDog says, welcome to kind of a sad Pontiac video. Poor Miss Beans. She's getting very, very old. But outside of that, when I got back from Montana, I changed this, made it a little slimmer, fixed the angle a little bit, and then recessed it instead of having it flat so that we'll be able to get 2 layers of acrylic in here. So you can see how, well, maybe you can see. So I'll have 1 layer bonded to it, and then the finish layer will be bonded to the outside. And that is going to make it much more rigid. We're still going to have the 2 screws on the bottom, although when we're done, they'll almost just be decorative. And then, of course, everything hinges on this screw here. This one is one of the decorative panels. You know, that just gets bonded down. And then I know I've shown some videos on the console. We were just discussing some of how we want to build this. So making sure that we know exactly what we're doing. And we've got to finalize our design for the phone holder slots. So yeah, you can see with the cup holders in. The big thing is, with the cup holders, I'll have room between them there to add points to plug in USBs for everything, because cables wear out. You want to make it easy to change them. So yeah, this is going to work out pretty slick. I'm real happy. The other thing he's asked is, can we actually get the lock on here? So that's the next thing we're going to experiment with a little bit today. We'll dig that hardware out, take some measurements and see, because it would look pretty cool if we could. Okay, we forgot to be filming. We've been in here for a little while going through some of the parts that have shown up, including the correct ashtrays now for the back. See the weird little angles they have. So we got those in. He got all the stuff from Retro Sound to put that radio back together so we can use it for another project in the future. So he's got all that back together.
Oh, here it's right here.
Yeah, let me quiet Charles Phoenix down there. But yeah, so this is, remember we put that in to act as a fake radio. Oh, you can just buy that. So we still have that Moto 4 body, and now we can just put that on there. And now we can use that whole radio, which is a good radio, in a different project. It just didn't line up well for this project.
And here's all the door hardware.
Yep. So we finally got the springs and the new escutcheons, and so all of that will work out pretty slick. Pixie's doing a little painting.
Hey, wait, Aaron.
ShopDog's been eating sausages like crazy.
Have you seen the coolest part ever?
I know. I am so not happy about this.
Let's see this cool part.
Yeah.
There it is. Look at that.
Okay. I'm going to show the people where that goes. Now, I know I glossed over how much work it was putting this heater controller in, you know, when I did it, and it only took a few hours. But now, not only is that going to have to come out, I have to get the room. There's 2 speed nuts on the back of this to take where it says Pontiac out and get air conditioning in. It's not going to be fun, but you know, it's the little details. It's all those little details that make it.
It's just 2 speed nuts.
Yeah, it's getting at them. You know, I don't know if you remember, it's getting a little crowded back there. It's a little more crowded back there than it used to be. So
What happens when you put air conditioning hoses in?
Yeah, those ducts, they do take up room. Luckily, I don't have, well, I only have a couple of them zip tied. Yeah, that's the other thing. I think I mentioned it up at the house, is we want to see about adding that box cylinder, because he thinks that would look cool. Also, it would keep it, so if you hit a bump, it wouldn't flap or anything. But two, it would just look cool. So that's on our list of what we're going to try to do. It's just making sure that I can replicate this distance so that this hits exactly where it needs to. And, you know, there's always a little something. There's always a something. Yeah, this looks like, and then does it have just a spring on the back, or how's it clipped?
I have no idea.
Yeah, a lot of these just had like a little spring retainer.
Yeah, clipped in probably to these holes here.
Yep, most likely.
Yep.
So we'll figure that out. How hard can it be, right?
It's just a couple of screws, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, ShopDog showing off. So we've got her sitting in the shop. We're showing neighbor John. what we're up to and how all this works. And I think this is going to be pretty cool. And then this is the actual material. That's just in the in that plastic over. So yeah, so that's what actually will go
Jeff, let's see that.
for the top here, for this little panel, and for that panel. So that is the actual material. Okay, so this is the lock that we want to try to place here. Although, oddly enough, we don't have the retainer for the lock. So I found one for a GTO that says it does not fit a Bonneville, but I got a feeling we can make it fit our application. Yeah, well, this one's got a screw on the back, so it's like a little slide over. I think that'll work fine. All right, we're starting right here, showing the people what's going on. Jeff is checking out outside. We decided we're going to go ahead and attack these studs. We had company for a while, so, you know, we're going to look for a project we know we can get done today. So we'll go ahead and attack this. I'll show you again how we did it. It's not that big a deal. Okay, so remember, what you do, line it to a nice void space, and then you whack that thing out of there. Okay.
Hi.
Obviously, you're a little afraid of it.
Yeah, well, I've never done that before.
And then that one went to a nice void space. And you just take them all out.
Hey, look at that.
See? Once you're not afraid, they just pop right out of there.
Hey, Cheryl, you need some work stress release?
Then we're going to take this, open it into that red line, you know, or just past that red line, boom, boom. So I'll see the red from the other side. And then we'll take that, do just a little bit of fine tuning. And once that's done, then we've got some spacers. And we take a lug nut and we draw the new ones back in. I'll show you in a minute. Now, remember, we're not going crazy. We're just trying to knock those knurls down because this is unfortunately as close as we could get, and it's still 10 mils bigger than we need. So when we go to draw those in, if it's too small a hole, all we're going to do is distort stuff. I know it doesn't look like it, but that will distort. So we'll just, once those serrations are gone, then we know we're right in where we want to be, and it'll cut new ones. Okay, so you can see there's hardly any spline left. That should put us right in our ballpark. So see how hefty this is here? Those splines are a little over 10 mils. So that should give us what we want. And here's our stack up. We've got a thick washer, a hardened washer, and then just a sacrificial washer and a sacrificial nut. And now you can see she's drawn in there pretty good. So that'll work. So when I pop this off, you'll see she's splined in. It doesn't rotate anymore. And now you can see just how nicely that is in there. It's nice and centered. It's strong. It's going to work. But the big thing is it's long enough now that even with the wheel on there, we're not only grabbing 3 threads. You know, we're actually grabbing something useful. And that's what matters. You're starting with a low power until it's snug. So see the back, see how far it's sticking out? Once it kind of starts to center, then he'll kick the power up a notch. Yeah, see how it's hardly moving? Now pick the power up 1 notch, and now we should be there.
Yeah, I can't see that. Tell me when it goes in.
There. And just like that, I think we got it. And just like that, we got 2 done. He's going to go ahead and... So we're using that just to lightly score inside so that when you're working with the burr, your eye is going to see if you're off center. You know, the human eye is pretty good at that. So see, he's got a lip now that he can see that's all shiny and bright. And then when he runs the burr, he'll be able to tell if he's off center a little. So he'll just finish up these last 2 and we can throw this all back on. Just remember, on this car, unfortunately, to pull a wheel, we gotta pull the bottom of a shock. Well, it's very pretty having this heavy, wet stuff. it's 34 degrees, so we get that. That's nasty. So let's go in and see how they're doing. I had to hit the head real quick. Yeah, so they're in here. Just looks like he's getting ready to draw another stud on. Okay, see? So pretend there was the dunk sound from South Main Auto on the brake clean. We cleaned the crap out of everything with brake clean. We just put the drum on. We're going to slide the tire on. Once the tire's kind of on there a little bit, then we can pick her up, put the shock back on. Remember, the top has to go in first.
The top has to go in first.
I know. If you ever had to do this on the side of the road, you couldn't.
Hey.
Wouldn't even be possible.
Car got to come up with this.
No, it'll go right on. And now look how much meat we're actually going to get. Remember, that was like 1 or 2 threads. And now, adding that 1/2 inch really makes a difference. We spent a lot of time and effort researching and figuring this out. And now we're happy. Yeah, I just took the calipers. Those studs now stick out 918 mils past the wheel. And this one is only 315. So we would like at least another 1/2 inch on these studs. I know that I have an email somewhere about what these rotors are off of. I'm going to go look it up. And we're going to find out what these are. And can we get them 1/2 inch longer? Okay, everybody's smoking and joking now. But we're giving Kevin a bunch of crap about this freaking air-conditioned thing instead of Pontiac. Yeah, because on the dash, all of this has got to come back out. That's going to be like a whole Thursday night right there.
It's literally
Just to get that.
that bar right there. Oh boy.
Oh, that's going to be fun. We'll do it, but it's not going to be fun. Also, that W thing from the GTO, we just can't find a way to make that do anything useful for us.
It's too tall.
So, yeah, that's going to have to go away. It was worth a try. But honestly, at this point, I think we've got a pretty good solid handle here. I've just got to start experimenting with the lock and how we want to retain it. We did find a retainer sleeve he's going to order, and that should help. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, so not only did we decide that we're not going to be able to use that W bracket, we're trying to decide, do we even have to have these screw holes here? So he's going to go ahead and mount that up. We've got the switches out, and this is just kind of located. Could this already be pre-built and thick and glued together and slide in? Well, the problem always comes down to that thing right there. That's what we're about to find out. We just need to know. It might be better. Okay, so we just slid it in, got a screw in it. It's already pretty solid, and these aren't even bonded in any way. It's a couple pieces of tape. I think that's going to work, and then we don't actually have to have these screw holes, and that'll look even nicer. So, yeah, so if I pop this off, okay. Now, on the downside, you can't have all the wires in it, but see, it'll pop in and out. You can see there's plenty of room back there for us to route our wiring for this seat heater and stuff. But yeah, so because I angled this tab, because, you know, a long time ago, I kind of thought this was how I'd want to build it. And you can see there's that gap back there. So when that slides in, we just, boom, look at that. Yeah, I think something like that'll work. And then if he really wanted it solid, we could add another 2 holes and print this even wider if we had to. I just don't think we do, because I've got these rub blocks pushing against the metal up here. And if we really are worried about it, we can always put a little bit of mounting tape or something in there. But you know how it is around here. We like things we can undo. Boy, Shop Dog's exhausted. We had so many people here today, he just can't even deal with it. But I think we're, you know, I've ordered switches and they're never correct. So I think for now, we're probably just going to use the one they sent. Yeah, we're going to get rid of the screw holes here. And I hate to print the block again, but I'm going to add 2 more tabs where if we had to, we could add 2 more holes. I mean, it wouldn't just be drill 2 more in the metal that are already there. And I think we can make this very, very solid. you know, having those rub blocks, you can see I kind of trimmed them down until they were just pushing, because what I don't want to do is cut any metal. I know the one tab is broken. It came to us that way. This one isn't. We're not using them, but that's not the point. I just don't want to remove anything I don't have to. So by leaving those blocks long, I could sand them until they just were pushing against these just right. So, you know, I'm going to look at maybe being able to have a screw here and a screw here too, just in case. But I think we're going to come out where we want to be. We know this panel is going to be good. We've got this down. I just got to play with that a little bit. I'll do a couple cuts. And if we can come up with something we're happy with, I might be able to actually cut some of the final stuff this week. We'll see. So hopefully next week we start putting us all together, but if not, it should be the following. Either which way. Okay, gang, what do we say? Thanks for watching. Real short video. That is the new shape. Okay, I've only got one screw in, and this is just literally sitting against it. But the advantage is I had pre-beveled those. That's resting there. I've got spots to add 2 more screws if we want to, you know, here and here. But suddenly, this is very, very sturdy. This is going to work. And we're going to get rid of those 2 screw holes. But you can see that just sits there now. Everything just fits nicely. We finally have all the right angles. I'm super, super stoked. You can see that's already flat, just wants to sit there. This is going to work out really, really nice, Kevin. I think you're going to be happy. Just a quick addendum. That's the next day. I printed and designed a new shape that gives us the ability, if we decide we want to, we can add 2 more screws. I also precast in that shape, so now that's touching. But here's the iterations. You can see here was our first thing, trying to just get the slope. And then here was a new footprint to see what I thought of that. And then I thought I was going to make little wings, but that didn't work out the way I thought. This was the one that was really close. And then this is what you saw in the video earlier. See, it's still just a single tab. But now you can see just how much beefier that is. And like I said, if we had to, we can even add 2 more screws, because what we want to do is not have those screw holes. So you can see that now, not even glued to anything. That is solid. It sits perfect. It's touching everywhere it needs to. There's going to be no flex. That's going to work really well. And ShopDog says, Jesus, let me in. I got that squirrel out of the yard. What more do you want? So, yeah, there's a squirrel we call Fatso who's been raiding the feeders in the back. And that's ShopDog's personal nemesis. So, anyway, thanks for watching.